did yesterday was going to take 2 days.
No, 2 days.
And so you guys all got it done in a day. So, whoa, I want to review it. I want to go over it. I've already graded them all, unless you just didn't turn it in yet. Grace, did you turn yours in? There were a couple of people that hadn't done it yet. So I'm not going to give out the answers, but I want to talk about the article. Oh, no, overall, you guys did great. Everybody that turned it in so far, which I think I have grades for everybody, but Maggie was finishing hers in here, and then Kaylee and Grace, I think I was missing yours for the virtual kids. But again, it ultimately wasn't supposed to be due till today anyway, because I thought it was going to take you guys 2 days because it was so, like 2 pages front and back. So I thought it was going to take longer for you guys to read through the article. I thought wrong. But I wanted to make, were we supposed to read that? That's why we're going to go over it today, because I have a sneaking suspicion that at least a few of you probably were just like skimming it to find the blanks and filling them in really quickly.
No, I definitely.
I don't know how many of you actually truly read the whole article. Okay. Did you understand? Some of it was a review, like in the very beginning it talked about there were allied powers and central powers. We already knew that, right? We had that map we talked about in the very beginning. I don't know, did you put it in the turn-in tray? Right, we had this map we talked about in the beginning, and the central powers were the ones in the middle, right? Centrally located. The allied powers were the yellow guys, right? Okay. And we knew that the war was started when Austria-Hungary got mad at Serbia because they
were allied.
They were allied with
Austria.
No. All right, what, Jason?
Serbia was
Serbia loved
Russia.
Bosnia.
Bosnia, yeah.
And then what did Austria-Hungary do?
They
Annexed it, which meant they brought it in to be one of them, and that made Serbia mad. And then this guy did what?
Dropped the bomb on
Nope. He assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Okay.
Miss Fab, I remember what happened. They dropped a bomb, it missed.
Hang on, I'm not there yet. Not there yet. Oh, yeah, we did talk about that for some. They dropped the bomb and it missed, and then he saw him in a parade later and just.
Car behind him, and then because of that, somebody shot him and his wife.
Okay. Yes. All right. So there were a couple of things on here though that were new information yesterday. So like the section on Germany, it said Germany had the largest army. So let's look back at our map where Germany is. Germany's the country that's above Austria-Hungary. Austria-Hungary, Germany. Okay. You guys remember Germany's the guy up here. And they had the largest army, and they were the primary leader of the central powers of all of those red countries. Okay. So they were running the show. Their military strategy at the start of the war was called the Schlieffen Plan. Everybody got that right that has it on here?
Wait, where
Josie Bright.
For some reason, that just sounds, because I'm like, if you go way back in my timeline for my family, on my mom's side, I'm German, and we like say some funny words sometimes that are German, and that sounds like so much like just a German word.
Right? It's like the epitome of German word. Josie, fun fact. Well, I guess this is for everybody. I told the class the other day, but I don't know if you guys were on the call still. My maiden name, like before I was married and had my kids or whatever, was Perschbacher, which is a very German name, Perschbacher. When I was a kid, that was the name I had to write on all my papers. It never even fit on any of the lines. It was really stupid. All right. And then back in the day, we didn't have tests that we took on the computer. We had to fill out little bubbles and circles on these papers. Oh, it was, well, I didn't use language like that when I was a 10-year-old. But anyway, all right, Schlieffen Plan. So what was the Schlieffen Plan? Does anybody remember from reading yesterday what was the Schleifen plan?
I don't even have that.
You don't have it because I have it, and I'm going to give it back to you. Maggie has it. What was the Schleifen plan?
I've been looking for it. I'm like, oh, this is
Somebody raise your hand.
But
Yeah, remember, don't get rid of this. This needs to go in your social studies folder.
in this one,
Miss
Stop. Whoa! Didn't I like ask the question, but I wait for somebody to raise their hand and actually like participate in a normal human student manner.
I didn't hear your question.
My question is, what is the Schleifen plan?
Oh.
It said that was Germany's plan at the start of the war, but what is it?
It's a plan.
It's a plan, but tell me more.
Well, it was to take over the France and Western Europe.
All right, Grace, tell me about the Schleifen plan.
This isn't about like the question, but you froze, so I left the meeting. But I just looked on Seesaw and it says that I turned in social studies from yesterday. And I remember doing it in the kitchen, well, in my kitchen.
I know what it is.
Oh, you did? Okay. And I graded it. Okay. Well, then, Grace, I'm just crazy, and I apologize. You do have it done, and I have it graded, so I'm sorry. Okay. Schleifen plan.
Please, I know what.
Sean.
Okay. The plan called for the quick takeover of France and the Western Europe. I believe it does not copy that from my paper.
Okay. They wanted to quickly. So in the beginning, let's look at our map. I'll project. Hang on. All right. So in the beginning, the Schleifen plan was that they wanted to take over who, Sean? Who did you say?
France and Western Europe.
France and Western Europe. So their first plan, the Schleifen plan, was to quickly, shaky shake, take out France, which is this big guy here, and any other Western Europe. So maybe even go after these guys that wanted to be neutral, Switzerland or whatever. And these guys, they wanted to take out all of these guys over here first, and then they'd come over here and battle Russia, the big boy. But so their first plan was, let's get rid of the smaller of our opponents first. Then we'll tackle Russia.
Why didn't you want to say something?
Okay. So that was the Schleifen plan. Unpin. That was some of the new information. The Ottoman Empire. This is new. We haven't talked about the Ottoman Empire. It says they had strong economic ties to Germany, and they signed a military alliance with Germany. Do we know where the Ottoman Empire is, though? It keeps talking about this Ottoman Empire. Do we know where that is?
In the country of Turkey.
Turns into the country of Turkey.
In 19.
Where was the Ottoman Empire? 1914. Hang
No,
on.
1923.
No, that's why it was called Turkey.
Ah, that doesn't make sense.
That means what it formed into a Turkey country.
Maggie, nothing when you do it.
What?
All right.
Just click on maps.
Got it.
Miss Bab. On the
Hang
top,
on.
Miss Bab, on the top of that, you can click on maps, and it'll show you more specific.
What?
If you scroll up, you can click on maps.
Okay, that didn't help me.
No, it really didn't. I thought it was in there.
Okay, so if you look at this, it's in a whole nother language, but I know what they're talking about here.
I see Peru, I think. I see.
Peru? Where do you think you see?
Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire is these guys here. They're not even colored in on our map. They're these guys down here. Okay, this is Ottoman Empire. And it goes down into what becomes, looks like Saudi Arabia. Here's another picture of it. Okay, so it's down here.
The Egyptian.
Not presenting. All right, So yeah, it's these guys right here, Ottoman Empire. All right, now
It's probably lost.
they're in on it, and they signed. Ottoman Empire decided that they were going to become part of it. They signed an alliance with Germany. So this is going to end up being red now because they are becoming part of
Traitors.
Germany. I'm going to label my map down here. This is orangey red. That's going to have to do. That's what I got. Okay. I just shaded my map in, and I'm going to name it Ottoman Empire. You guys don't have to do this, but I just want to do this so for future reference as we continue learning about the war, we know where it's at. Now I've got my Ottoman Empire. Okay. Bulgaria was the last major country to join the war on the side of the Central Powers in 1915. Bulgaria claimed land held by Serbia and was eager to invade Serbia as part of the war. Well, where is Bulgaria? I saw it on our map, this one here. Hang on. Look to the north and west of Ottoman Empire in this picture. Oops, hang on. All right, look above and to the left. Bulgaria is above the Ottoman Empire.
Oh, I see it.
Right up here. Okay? Bulgaria. So on our map, Bulgaria is this little guy right here. This little guy. This little guy right here.
Yeah, I see it.
Bulgaria. Okay? I'm going to add him on as well. All right, so they all become part of the Central Powers, the red guys.
The bad guys.
Zeke says those are the bad guys. We'll see.
Losers.
Okay.
I mean losers. It's not going
All right. So now your paper talked about some of the other leaders, because so far all we know is that Archduke Franz Ferdinand got killed. And then now we know that Germany is the leader as far as the countries go, but we don't know who the actual leaders of those countries are and what their deal is. So in Germany, again, he's this guy up here. He's in charge. They have
Show us
the Kaiser Wilhelm II, Wilhelm II. That's a Roman numeral 2. It's not II. It's not Wilhelm II. There's a Roman numeral 2. Wilhelm II was the last Kaiser, and a Kaiser is another word for emperor. He was related to both the King of England and the Tsar. That TSAR word is Tsar of Russia.
Oh, I thought
And his policies were largely the cause of World War I. He eventually lost the support of the army and held little power by the end of the war. Abdicated the throne in 1918 and fled the country. Abdicated the throne means he quit. He just quit.
he's a quitter.
He didn't. He is. He had these policies that I'm supposing were unfair. They caused the war. Eventually, his army didn't even support him, so he had to quit and flee. Not only did he not be the leader anymore, he had to get the heck out of there.
He was like, bye.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
He was a coward.
All right, in Austria-Hungary, now, today we're focusing all on Central Powers, right? Our red guys. Okay? Austria-Hungary, the guys that were the first ones to actually declare war, their leader was Emperor Franz Joseph. And he was in charge for 68 years. And it was his predator, the person that was going to take his place, his heir, Franz Ferdinand, was assassinated by Serbia. We knew that. But Franz Joseph died during the war. And then since Franz Ferdinand had been killed, a man, Charles I, ended up being the new leader of Austria-Hungary. Okay.
Wow.
All right. Now going down to the Ottoman Empire. So we know the leader of Germany, he ends up being quitting and leaving. Austria-Hungary's guys dies and gets replaced halfway through the war. Ottoman Empire. Mehmed V. was Sultan. It makes me think of like Aladdin.
Oh, that makes me think like
But he was the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. That was the name of a ruler, a type of a ruler back then, an all-powerful ruler, just like in Aladdin. And he declared war on the Allies, which the Allies were the yellow guys, declared war on the Allies in 1914. He died just before the end of the war in 1918. Okay, Bulgaria, which was the little guy that joined up here. Okay, they had Ferdinand I. He was the Tsar of Bulgaria during the war. He gave up his throne at the end of the war to his son Boris III.
Where's a weird name?
Boris III. All right. And then interesting facts. They were also known as the Quadruple Alliance. Why would they be known as Quadruple Alliance? Quad means 4, and there are 4 major countries we're talking about. Now, I know on this map we started with that Italy, hang on. I know on this map that we started with, Italy was colored in red. But we haven't really heard much about Italy since, well, really started. I think when we learn about the Allied powers, we're actually going to hear more about our dear friend Italy. Not that this map was colored wrong, because this is what the things looked like before the start of the war. Now that the war is going on, we've got the Quadruple Alliance, because it was Germany, Austria-Hungary, Bulgaria, and the Ottoman Empire. Those 4. Okay. All right. Josie, yes, ma'am.
So I'm wondering, like, was America the Allied powers, Central powers, or neutral?
You'll find out next week. I think we're on. I'm pretty sure we're allies.
It's the weird accent.
It's been a long time. We didn't get to World War I last year with last year's group, and it's been a long time since I studied World War I. We definitely didn't learn it in 3rd grade. And we don't learn it in kindergarten. So it's been a hot minute. So Miss Bab's relearning it along with you guys. Not gonna lie, just being completely honest. All right. And then there are some other fun facts on there about how many people were killed and wounded. 3.1 million people were killed.
Wow.
That's just on the red side. Okay, that's just whoa. 3.1, 25 million soldiers. Of those, 3.1 million people were killed on Team Red Central Powers, and another 8.4 of them were wounded. So 11.5 altogether, people that didn't come out of the war like they started. You guys have a couple things on the back of your second page, and you guys were, virtual friends were missing like 2 things. Right, bring me yours real quick. Hang on, guys. You ended up missing something, virtual friends. And that's okay. I didn't count off for it. It just didn't get scanned in. Class. Listen, because I need to read this last paragraph, especially for them, because they were missing this last paragraph on theirs. I'm not counting off that you didn't fill in these blanks. It's fine. But it said each member of the Central Powers signed a different treaty with the Allies at the end of the war. The last and most famous treaty was the Treaty of Versailles that was signed by Germany. So at the end of the war, and we're not there yet, each of these countries is going to sign a treaty with one of these countries, their own treaty with all of these others. Not traitors, treaty. A treaty is like a peace, like a peace. Yes, like, okay, the war is over and this is what we've decided.
We're having a truce to all.
A truce, kind of. Not a truce, but like there was a winner. And a truce is like when you just call it, there's not a winner. But this, there was a winner. We're not there yet. All right, so that's what. I'm so sorry. Go sit down. I'm still teaching. Go sit down. I don't know why several of you just got up and started walking around. Sharpening a pencil is one thing. Like, I'm not mad about coming to sharpen a pencil, but the 2 or 3 of you that just got up and started wandering around, I don't know. Okay. So that's what I had for today. I just wanted to review that because there was new information on there, and I wanted to make sure that you guys understood what it was and you weren't just filling in the blanks without understanding the meaning of it, because we will have the big test at the end. So these papers, if you are a face-to-face person, save them. Right, you can have yours back. Save them in your social studies folder so that you don't lose them, because you're going to need these when it comes time for study guide and all of that kind of thing. Put them in your don't throw it away folder. And save it. So that's all I have for today.
I need a folder, don't throw it away folder.
You guys have you need a save it till next time folder.
Okay.
Well, I've been telling you all along to put all the social studies stuff since World War I began. I've been telling you to put all your social studies stuff in a folder that keeps it safe. Right? I told you guys that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just.
All right, guys, I'm going to hit stop record because that's all I've got for the war today. I'm going to start getting them packed up to go.